Welcome to Inside Analog Photo. I'm your host, Scott Shepard. The Inside Analog Photo radio program is all about the traditional photographic process. We talk about all aspects of analog photography, including the hybrid workflow. You can find out more information over at www.insideanalogphoto.com. And of course, Inside Analog Photo is brought to you by Fujifilm, making life more colorful. These guys have the coolest instant photography materials known to mankind. They have, of course, the pack film and 3¼ by 4¼ and 4x5, color and black and white. They have the Instax systems in the wide format, the Instax 210 camera and film, and of course the Instax Mini in the Instax Mini 7 and the Instax Mini 25, both in color film. Beautiful stuff. There's nothing cooler than instant photography. You get a print, because if you don't have a print, you don't have a real photograph. This is great fun stuff. This is great for art. This is great for business. This is cool stuff. You definitely want to check them out over at www.fujifilmusa.com/professional, making life more colorful. Our friends over at Photo Publicist, providing worldwide publicity, strategic promotion, social media marketing, and business development for the photographer, turning photographers into celebrities. You can find out more information over at www.photopublicist.com. Our friends at Richard Photo Lab, for the highest quality work known to mankind anywhere on this planet. Unbelievable developing, scanning, and of course, output on high quality Fuji Crystal Archive. Unbelievable cool stuff these guys are up to. And remember, you don't have a photograph unless you have a print in your hand, and you need to print your pictures. This is important. You need to supply proofs to your customers and even print your own work, because it's not about looking at it on a monitor. It's about holding a print in your hand. Definitely check these guys out at Richard Photo Lab, of course, at richardphotolab.com. Our friends over at DR5 Chrome Black and White, developing that turns your black and white neg into, that's right, black and white chrome. Unbelievable stuff. www.dr5.com. Our friends over at Upstrap upstrap-pro.com for the camera strap that will not slip off your shoulder, guaranteed bar none, the coolest strap around. Our friends at Iger Studios, for the finest quality drum scans known to mankind, igerstudios.com. Our official media partner, APUG, the Analog Photography User Group, for all things traditional photographic process on the web, www.apug.org. And our official philanthropic partner, George Eastman House International Museum of Photography and Film, over at www.eastmanhouse.org. On today's Inside Analog Photo, we're going to be here with Ingrid Nelson. Ingrid is a fabulous wedding, lifestyle, children photographer out of Northern California. And of course, she shoots what? That's right, film. 100% analog, bad to the bone, beautiful photography. You really need to check out her website, her personal work, her fine art, the pictures of the kids, the wedding stuff. This is beautiful work. And of course, we're going to talk with Ingrid today about herself, how she got into photography, and what she's up to. Ingrid, how you doing today?
I'm well, Scott. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us here on Inside Analog Photo. Great to have you on the program today to talk about yourself and your fabulous wedding and portrait photography. This is nice stuff.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel very, very honored to be on your program, because I listen to it whenever it comes through the podcast.
Very cool. So, Ingrid, tell me about yourself, your company, what you do, so people that don't know will know what's going on, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, well, I'm a wedding portrait photographer, like you mentioned, and I've been doing it for about 10 years now. I live in Grass Valley, California, which is kind of on the way to Tahoe for everyone who has no idea where Grass Valley is. And I have just a pretty simple life out here, shooting, playing a little bit.
Do you find that your work is concentrated in a local type deal, or are you getting clients from all over Northern California, or do you travel? Tell me about what you do when you do work.
Well, I was in Marin for 5 years. So the majority of my wedding work, I'd say, is still in the Bay Area, Napa. I do travel. I've been to Mexico, Texas, a bunch of places for weddings. But now that I have a 2-year-old, I'm really trying to concentrate more on staying local, just to be able to come home at night and tuck him in, kind of thing. Shooting weddings and doing the destination thing sounds glamorous, but I'm kind of over it.
It's okay to a point.
Exactly. I mean, you're there to do a job. So most of the times when I've done Mexico or what have you, I've gone the day before and you're just there, you're working, and then you leave. So I haven't been able to play around much when I've done that.
It'd be different if you're going to the Valley and it's like, okay, I'm going to go a week ahead of time. Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
and I can get into the full groove of the whole environment. But usually that's not the case. So like you said, destination wedding work, it might be glamorous, but it's more costly and it's just okay.
Yeah. Just the past year and a half, I've really been trying to just simplify my business and my life and just spend more time at home and do yard work, that kind of thing. To have a little more balance, I think.
Yeah, you always got to get that yard work in there.
I love gardening.
Really?
I do. It's therapy.
So tell me what got you involved in saying, I want to document people's once-in-a-lifetime moment. When did you start doing photography?
I was probably 10 or 12 when I first started wanting to take pictures. Both my parents are artists, so I've all heard this story before, but they both paint, and I never really inherited that aspect of the artistic gene. I was never able to draw realistically. I was never adept with a paintbrush, but I'm very visual, and even from a young age, my parents bought me a little point-and-shoot type camera, and I would start taking photos. In fact, when I first moved to California, I was 10 years old. I don't remember what kind it was, but it was a red point-and-shoot camera. We woke up in the morning. We rode to California in the back of a pickup truck, back when that was legal, I guess, from Canada, because that's where I was from. And we got to Dixon, and I took a picture of the sunset, and I still have that photo in a little frame.
What a trip, all the way from Canada to Dixon, the back of a pickup. I used to like riding the back of pickups. I guess you can't do that anymore, huh?
No, and it's so funny because we were out at my friend's property the other day, and we were going from their house down to the Yuba River, and we were all in the back of the pickup with our 2-year-olds. Must have been 10 of us, and we were all joking about it because we totally did that when we were younger on the freeway, and now you just never see that. I mean, of course, it's so dangerous, but yeah, it's such a vivid memory. But that photo, I look at that photo, and I remember moving to California because of that picture.
Wow. Okay, so you land in Dixon at some point.
Yeah, 10 years old.
10 years old. So what happened? Did you take pictures through school?
Not until after high school. I never did the yearbook thing. I went to UC Davis and got a degree in English Lit. I was always the person who took pictures at parties. I was always taking photos of my friends, but never in any sort of serious way. And then my last senior seminar class at UC Davis, I took a class that was words and photos, words and images. And I found that I was much better at the picture-taking part of it than I was at the writing. And that was it. And I graduated Davis, and then I moved to Santa Barbara and started Brooks the next year. I have an English degree, but I don't really use it.
So what year did you go to Brooks?
I was there in 97, and I only went a year and a half. Maybe it was 97 or 98. Maybe I took a year off Davis. I can't remember, but I was enrolled in school for the fundamental classes, and then I dropped out. But I still lived in Santa Barbara, and I kind of still used the school facilities, but no one knew that I wasn't in class. But I was there when the Brookses owned it. The Brookses were amazing, and there were only maybe 300 students when I was there. Mrs. Brooks would make cookies, and it was such a great, small, family environment.
Different now.
Yeah, now it's big, and I've heard rumors that they don't even teach film anymore.
How could you have a photography school and not teach fundamental, traditional photography?
I don't know, because that's the basis of everything. I mean, even if you're shooting digital, you still have to understand those concepts. I just saw this really funny commercial that they're airing in England. I think it's for the Olympus camera or some kind of camera. Basically, it's this guy, and he's supposed to be the artist, and he's standing in front of his work, and it's a slideshow presentation of all these different pictures. One is a dog shaking water off of him, and all the water drops are off, and another one is close up, and the people in the audience are asking him, so what was the shutter speed? And he was like, fast. The whole concept behind the thing was that the camera did all the work. He knew nothing about its functions or why the pictures were the way they were. So it was kind of funny because I know people who shoot like that.
Oh, well, sorry for them. I guess it's great that people are taking photos. But the thing I find so concerning about that is, especially if you have children, how can you document your family? If you're shooting digital, then the stuff ends up on a hard drive. And you're even a PC user and that old nasty beige box dies and you go buy another one for $200 and install that, then all your pictures are gone later.
I have clients who have had that happen to them where their computers died and they lost 3 years of their child's life and they weren't able to get it back. There's huge whole sections of history that are being lost every day because of that. I mean, just the family pictures. I'm sure that the professionals and the newspapers and all of those back up. I don't know. I just think it's crazy.
It is. So you go to Brooks and you bailed.
Yep. After the first year, I got what I needed.
You got what you wanted. So during that time, was it design? Was it photography? Or you just jumped in head first and wanted to go battle Jose Villa?
Hi, Jose. I don't think I had a game plan. I really don't think I've gone through life with much of a game plan. I just knew that it felt right. Taking the class at Davis, and I think it was just in passing conversation, someone told me about Brooks and Santa Barbara. And I drove down to Santa Barbara with a girlfriend for like a little road trip and just fell in love with the location, I think, first. And I was like, I'm just going to go to school here. What else am I going to do? Go to law school? And when I was at Brooks, it's funny, for my equipment, I never even really checked out the fancy stuff that they had there. I used this old camera from 1972 that my dad bought to take pictures of me when I was born.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I got a Mamiya RZ, I think, halfway through school, and I used that a little bit. I just really went to learn the fundamentals. That's really all you need, learning exposure and composition and studio lighting, light fall off, all that kind of stuff. And now it's just intuitive. Weddings was an accident.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you did bail from Brooks and you're out running rampant in the hills of Santa Barbara, what was your photographic focus at that point? What was the mission? What were you taking pictures of?
When I started Brooks, you actually had to apply. I don't know if you have to apply now. I think they just want money. You had to have the whole concept of why you wanted to go there. And I think I just said that I wanted to be able to take pictures for ordinary people that were beautiful. And I think that's kind of what I ended up doing. And when I was there, I was working 40 hours a week, kind of put myself through school, and I would do the assignments. Almost anything that I take pictures of, it doesn't matter if it's a tree or a person or my cat, they all kind of come out the same.
So you're so immersed in the photography thing, it really doesn't matter what you're shooting, then you don't care.
Yeah, I could take a picture of really anything, I think.
So with this keen interest in photography, tell me how you were wrangled into wanting to shoot weddings and all these kinds of events.
I did my boss's wedding when I was at Brooks, and I did it all on black and white. I hand processed and hand printed everything on fiber paper. I think for like $500. It took me like a month to print it all, and I swore I would never shoot another wedding. And then a friend asked me to do theirs, and I was like, oh, okay. And it just kind of happened like that. I ended up doing like 3 or 4 friends, and I found that I just sort of fit well into that girly scene and just the happiness of the day. I'm sort of bubbly, I guess. The thing that's really funny about my pictures is that personally I'm really drawn to dark and moody, Tim Burton kind of creepy things. But no matter what I do or how hard I try, everything that comes out of me is sunshiny and happy. It just sort of works for weddings really well.
So everything comes out happy and cool, but you're digging the Haunted Mansion and cool stuff like that.
Yeah, I really like dark, creepy things. It's funny. But weddings is kind of a natural thing for me, I think. People want to look beautiful. They want to look happy in their pictures. For the most part, I think that they make the pictures. I don't. I just kind of frame them. I don't direct people at all.
No direction. So when you do weddings, you don't like to do formals and directing people?
No, my direction is, okay, get together. That's it.
What do you do when you have a couple that are not touchy-feely, and how are you able to portray them as being all lovey-dovey?
Well, everyone has their own connection or their own way. For me, the most important thing is to capture them as they are. I don't know, maybe it's like a really intuitive thing where I just let the subject sort of guide me into knowing how to shoot them. I might have to say to people, okay, walk away from me, walk back towards me. I don't know, Scott. It just all kind of works out. I make it really simple for myself. I just show up, and I don't have a lot of equipment.
I'm very intrigued because a lot of people get extremely anal about this process. And it seems that you're just there, happy-go-lucky, Ingrid, let's go have fun, cool, you're getting married, yippee-yay. And you take pictures and they're unbelievable.
Well, the thing that's most important to me is that my clients enjoy their wedding day. I don't feel like I'm there to create this elaborate photo shoot for them. Everything happens so fast.
So let me put this one out to you, okay? So you're married?
I am, 10 years.
So you've been married for 10 years and you shoot weddings all the time and you're a girl. Yeah. And so here's the question that I want to get to. Say 10 years ago, how many of your wedding images are still out in public view at your house?
Oh, of mine?
Yeah, yours.
I got married in Vegas.
Okay. Nothing wrong with Vegas.
Amy Postal shot my wedding pictures.
Really?
Uh-huh. And I think that she still has the rolls somewhere at home.
So it was a whole roll. She spent a whole roll on you.
Well, because it was a bunch of Brooks students. There was like maybe 40 of us that all went to Vegas, and I don't have a single picture from my wedding. Nobody wanted to bring their fancy cameras.
Really? So 40 people went to Vegas to go to your wedding, or you just decided when you were there, hey, let's get married. Cool, we're in Vegas.
No, everyone went for my wedding on tax day, 2000.
I'm going to have to bother Amy now. I want to see these pictures. Where are they at?
I wonder if she still has them. I kind of live vicariously through all of my couples now. You get so involved. I could tell you a story about every picture I've taken. It's crazy.
Okay, so your wedding was a bit different, but let's put this in a context of any girl, okay? 10 years down the road, how many images are out of their wedding? Any? One? Maybe a portrait? What do you think? I guess the point I was getting at was, do you think that some women want 16,000 images, and when it really comes down to it, a year or 3 or 5 later, there's maybe only really 1 or 2 hanging around, if that?
If that, yeah. And I think part of it is that the couples are bombarded constantly. Now it's like all the photo blogs and everything, that every picture you've seen online, you want to recreate that. The couples come to me and ask me for that. There's been like 2 instances where I had a bride and I felt like everything she was doing was for the photo. She wasn't just letting her day just happen. Every time she'd look at me, it would be for a picture. I think that people just need to have fun at their weddings and not think so much about the photography.
I find it really interesting that people over-obsess about the photography. And if you look at all the blogs and all the magazines and you look at everything, right? And it's all about detail. And who's got the coolest note card and who's got the coolest rustic little wood sign and who's got all these little cool props. And really, none of that matters, right? Well, look at your wedding, okay? So you went with 40 of your friends. Yeah. And you got married where in Vegas?
At the Little White Chapel.
Cool. Okay, so it was like 15 minutes of fame, right? There was your 15 minutes right there.
Mm-hmm.
With all your friends, and you remember that, I bet, yeah?
Yes,
okay,
I do.
Does it really matter that you didn't have the cool little hipster wood sign and the neat little placemats?
No.
Okay, so really, I mean, is all of this photography driven by consumer demand because they want more stuff or they want to look cool like the magazine? I'm trying to get a grasp on what different people think about photography and what brides think they want to be portrayed like and what they really want and what they get.
I think that the thing that's going on now is there's so much pressure to take pictures. I don't want to take away from the actual planning of people's weddings because I love how they're personalized now as far as the rules don't really apply the way they used to. People can kind of really customize and make things personal, which I love. But with the photos, I think that it's good to do a few details, and I'd like to be able to tell the story in the album with incorporating a few details. But the most important thing are the faces and the people and the emotions and your guests. Those are the things that I think I focus on more at the weddings than the details. I have the detail shots, but they take me no time to do. And a lot of times they don't even get to see that stuff. So if I take a picture of it, then at least they'll be able to see how their table arrangement looks. It's such a blur for them. So when you do the detail pictures, at least they'll have that somewhere frozen. Because for them, the day just goes by in a flash.
So I think with the detail shots and these other things that people are doing, and if you look at so many photographers that post these type of detail shots, it almost seems anymore a lot of people that are shooting weddings are shooting for the magazine submission.
Yeah, there's pressure there.
Well, every bride wants to be in the magazine, right?
Well, some do. All the weddings that I've had in magazines, it is sweet for the couple. That's what makes me the most happy, is that they get to show their friends. Like, oh, look, I'm on the newsstands, that kind of thing.
Okay, I still try to get back to the point of it really doesn't matter. And I thought the wedding thing was supposed to be about bride and groom. And you have other people around that are supposedly to experience this great day.
Yeah. You
had a great time at your wedding, yeah?
Well, like I always say, the wedding day was the worst day of my life. But every day with my husband since then is amazing. It was fun, though. It was a good time.
You don't even have any photos and you still had a great time and you're happy and it's all good.
Funny though, a wedding photographer that doesn't have any pictures of their own wedding. It's kind of ironic, I guess.
Well, what are you going to do? But nevertheless, so I think that goes to show what your attitude is when you go to shoot a wedding. Like you said, you don't have any shot list. You don't have any preconceived notions. You try to go in there and just, hey, I'm here, let's go, and take pictures.
Different. Mm-hmm.
Right.
You just let the day dictate itself. And I mean, I go in, I try to help people with a little timeline ahead so that they set some time aside for doing pictures with the bridesmaids, that kind of stuff. I like to have my allotted little time, but for the most part, it's so loose when I'm doing the pictures. And everything always runs behind. I'm used to having 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there to do pictures, but I'm quick, very quick.
So do you find that women make better wedding photographers?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I think that we have a slight advantage connecting maybe with the bride for the getting ready shots, that kind of thing. There might be more of a comfort level there, having a girl when you're getting your dress on, that kind of thing. But I guess it depends on the bride's personality and how she feels about that. And then getting excited about the dress and the shoes and that kind of thing, I think would tend to be more a girly aspect too. So I think there's a slight advantage. But as far as when you look side by side at male photographers and female photographers, I'd say it's about even. It's a tough one.
Well, it is a tough one. And the reason I ask is I think that to a bride, there's a certain reason why you're at the wedding. And as a groom or a man, there's a different reason why you're there.
Yeah.
And some people have more emotion with it. A lot of guys are like, okay, well, I need to do this. This is part of the deal. Let's just get it over with. Right on. It's time to party. I want to drink with my buddies. And I think there's more of an emotional connection with a female on a wedding than there is with a guy. So how can a man portray and capture and tell the story of said day?
Yeah.
Without having that emotional connection to it?
Well, I was going to say that I feel almost like there's a loss of control, like your muse or whatever that drives you, that inspiring force inside. I almost feel like I don't have control over it. And whether you're male or female, our inspiration and how we see the world comes from your memories and your schooling and your experiences. I think those are the things that really kind of skew each photographer's vision, whether they're male or female.
I always ask that question because I always get a different answer from everybody.
Yeah. What do the guys say?
I never asked that to guys, but maybe I have. I'll have to ask it.
Next time.
I'll ask Jose next time I talk to him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's very in touch with the bride. But then again, if you look at his work, I mean, you can pull out what you see on his blog and just stick it into Martha Stewart weddings.
Yeah, there's so much softness there. It's so pretty.
It is.
I just see a lot of Jose copycats now. Even the people out there who are trying to do what he does, I don't know if they do it as well.
Well, they're not him.
Like, everybody sees it a little differently. I think people should just let go of all the other stuff that's out there and do their own thing.
So what kind of clients are attracted to you? Why are they having you shoot their wedding? Is there a certain style that you're portraying? Do you think it's because you're shooting film? And we'll get into that here in a second.
Yeah. I don't do really any advertising. It's mostly word of mouth. So it's either a bridesmaid of a past wedding will contact me, or I get work from a few wedding planners. Most of the time, people just look at the website and they go, oh, they seem so natural. Most of the people who want me to shoot for them, it's because they just want pictures that don't look contrived. And then once I talk to them and tell them my whole process, if it works for them and if they are okay with just letting me come and document them on that day, because some people do feel like they need more direction, and I lose clients that way when I tell them that I'm not really good at posing people. They don't know that I shoot film, maybe right off. I think I have it posted in a few places, but not everyone reads through all the details. But they always go, oh, the pictures look so different. The colors are so beautiful.
So let's talk about that. You started shooting film at Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still shooting film.
Yeah, I bought a digital camera, but I hated it. But I never used it for anything other than personal stuff. Why did I buy it? I think it was just a cool thing to have. Or maybe I was thinking that I could use it for personal stuff in order to save some money for when we go up snowboarding. I don't know why I was thinking that I could take that with me. It's huge. I mean, mind you, it was the 10D. I know that they've come a long way since that. But I just could never match the pictures. And maybe I didn't allow myself that learning curve. And I mean, I know how to expose, so it wasn't that. You kind of have to do digital like you do slide film. But it's a whole other mindset. You interact with your camera instead of just letting like an intuitiveness take over. You second guess yourself. You take a picture and then you look at the back of it. Did I get it? Even though when I do film, I don't do that.
What do you mean, did I get it? I mean, don't get me wrong. Digital technology now is unbelievable. The software that's out there now to do these types of things, especially if you look at the stuff from like Nick and other people, it's great. And you can use these things and this technology in your film photography because, of course, everything is scanned. And you can do as you wish. But I can't imagine shooting and looking and chimping. Shoot, look, shoot, look, shoot, look, shoot, look, flipping the camera back and forth.
And when you're shooting people, it totally takes you out of that interaction with them, too. And you take your eye off. And for me, the in-between moments are the key moments, and all of my shots are the unplanned, the time when someone moves their face just ever so slightly. Those are my favorite times to photograph. But yeah, and you can't take your eye off the camera when those things are happening, because they happen in just a flash.
So what are you shooting with? Let's talk about gear. So you have a 10D hidden in the closet somewhere.
I threw it out. I didn't even sell it.
So what are you shooting with to be able to maintain this connection?
I shoot all 35 for my weddings.
Cool.
And I use the Canon EOS 3s. I have 3 bodies, and then I use zoom lenses, which makes me kind of not normal too, I guess. I have a 17 to 35 wide, which I rarely use. And then I've got the 28 to 70 and the 70 to 200 with the image stabilizer. And then I have a macro lens that I use occasionally. But pretty much I just have the 2 lenses on me all day. And I just switch back and forth. And I always have black and white film in one body and color film in the other. I just constantly go back and forth depending on what I'm looking at. Super easy. I don't have to think at all. It's great.
Well, I mean, isn't that the point? You're not supposed to think.
Right.
It's supposed to happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love conceptualizing things, and I love images that are more artistic, but I don't really do that on the wedding day. That's more something I would do on my personal time. On the wedding day, like I was saying, I just like to let them tell the story. I become a camera. There's a quote, I even have it on my website. It's something like, let the subject generate the photo, become a camera, or something like that.
So at no point do you really jump in there and say, move here, do this, do that. Do you do family formals?
I do, but it's me saying, okay, everybody get together, smile.
And they all just sort of get in a bunch, and if there's like some 7-foot tall guy in the front, you move him in the back, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's that easy. And then usually I'll have the bride and groom kiss. Half the time I'll say it, and people are like, what did she say? And then some people will look at me, some people will look at them. People are looking all over. Those are my favorite shots.
I like that. I mean, you can tell this kind of relaxed conveyance in your photography. It's not herded. It's not contrived. It's just what it is. It's cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so using an EOS 3.
Yep.
You got a couple zoom pieces of glass. It's cool.
Yep.
What do we shoot in film? What kind of stock do you like to eat?
Oh, gosh. Well, I like the color neg stuff. I used to only use Kodak Portrait NC, and in the past year I've been using some of the Fuji 400, the MPH stuff. But I kind of go back and forth now. If I'm doing a wedding, I'll only use one emulsion, just for consistency. I kind of like to have a consistent look that holds everything together. Because I do change back and forth. My focal points are different through the wedding, so I guess the look of the film sort of holds it all together. I don't get too experimental with anything, really. There's no time. And then for black and white, I do the Kodak 400 CN. And I rate everything the same. I don't use any high-speed stuff. I just shoot the same film all day into the night, and that's it. And I use a tripod if I have to during the reception.
Flash, no flash, all natural light. What's there is what you get.
Flash once the sun goes down. And most of the time when I shoot flash, I'll only shoot it with black and white, not with color. With the color, I use the tripod to do long exposure kind of shots and things. The black and white with flash is more flattering, especially when people start dancing and getting all red and shiny. It reminds me of like old Hollywood kind of stills or like paparazzi kind of pictures. I have a little bracket that lifts the flash up to make it a little more flattering, and a little softbox that comes on it. But I don't really do any bouncing or any extra flash or lighting. Everything fits in one little bag.
Do people, when they inquire about having you shoot their wedding, birthday party, whatever it might be, and we haven't even talked about kids, do they actually say, we found you because you shoot film, we like film, or people don't even care, or they don't even know?
A lot of times they don't even know. There's a whole education thing there. If people aren't from a design background or photography background, a lot of people nowadays think digital is better. And so you have to kind of explain to them.
Have you had people say, you're shooting film, so thank you very much, but bye-bye?
A couple, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, last week, she wanted film, he wanted digital, and he was paying for the photography, so they went with a digital photographer. Sure. I saw who they went with, and I was like, so sad. There's so many wedding photographers now. There's a gazillion.
How is the wedding environment in fabulous Grass Valley?
Well, this is probably one of the most wonderful hidden secrets. Wedding venues up here are beautiful, and no one knows about it. It's so pretty. The foothills, it's gold country. So there's the river, there's hills, there's pine trees. Next year, I think I have 10 weddings up here, which is crazy because I've been here 5 years and almost all of my work is still in the Bay Area. And for some reason, I have a lot of weddings next year up here. I'm so glad. Someone was listening.
You do like to drive through Dixon, don't you?
Past the milk farm sign.
Yeah. Well, this is cool. So what happens after the fact? So you've shot these fabulous events. You got a bag full of some yummy Kodak and Fuji goodies.
Yeah.
What happens to it? Are you souping your own? Are you sending it out? Tell me about your workflow after the fact.
I send all my film to Specialty Color Services in Santa Barbara, and they scan it all in, and then I get it back, and I just go through it. Depending on the package that the clients want, I'll either do a set of prints for them. Some people are on a budget, so they'll just get a CD or a DVD with all their files. And if that's the case, then I'll put together a little slideshow so that it's presented in a pretty way. And then some people order albums, some people don't. But I give everybody all their negatives, all their digital files. And I didn't used to do that. I used to have an album included in every package. And I really wanted to simplify things. And being up in Grass Valley, too, it's a little less of a high-end market, I guess. So up here, you have to drop your prices a little bit. But I'm so much happier.
It seems to me that you enjoy the quality of life. And if you weren't driving to the city, you could be at home pulling weeds. So
yeah, exactly. Gardening. My tomatoes are looking great.
I mean, it's great, and it's very cool that you take pride in doing things with your hands, natural and nature-wise.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to get dirty.
So you consider yourself more of a farm girl than a city girl?
I'm like a perfect blend, I think.
Yeah?
Because I love the city, too. I mean, I love the art galleries. I love going to lunch. I love good food. I just kind of take it all in, I suppose. But the food has to come from somewhere, so it's better to grow it yourself, right?
If you have the room, why not?
Yeah. Do you grow anything?
No, it'd be nice to, though.
But you have access to everything 24 hours a day in the city. Everything here closes down at 5 o'clock.
You probably have a Walmart that's close to you.
No, thank God. Everything here is about local sustainability. We're hippies up here, basically.
So is that the new hipster area? Is that the new cool deal to be in
Nevada City?
Yeah.
People say that it's kind of the way Marin used to be a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music up here. There's great food up here. There's a lot of art. It's amazing. The Yuba River is gorgeous. You just go to the river and swim, and there's big granite boulders and clear pools of water. And visually, it's so pretty. It's removed from everything. I mean, you have to drive 45 minutes to get to Walmart. Well, I don't go to Walmart. I go to Target.
You have to go to where, Placerville or somewhere, yeah? Or you go back into Sacramento?
Roseville. Yeah, that's the closest. Auburn has a Target, so Target's technically only 25 minutes away. But we try to shop local, though, anyway.
No, that's cool that you're investing back in the infrastructure of the city where you live.
Yeah, you can get CSAs delivered to your door. You can buy meat from the guy who owns the cow. It's great. Such a concept, huh?
No, it is good. I think it's very cool. And I think a lot of this is portrayed in your photography. And you're conveying this type of message in the look of what you're shooting.
Oh, thanks, Scott.
It's cool. So you get the stuff back from the lab and it goes out. Do you typically find most people now just want it on a DVD? They don't want proofs, or is it just too much hassle?
I'd say 50-50. I try to talk my couples into getting the package that has the 600 4x6 print included, but sometimes they don't have the money. And I don't want to turn people away because of money. Some of my favorite clients and the most interesting people are the broke ones. So I just try to work with everyone. The most important thing for me is that you capture it on film. You have the picture, they have the negatives, they have the scans, and when they can do the print. And I do. I have people come back like 2 years later and say, okay, we're ready to do our album now. So I don't want to turn them away.
You're still doing the albums. It's just it's not a requirement. It's not in every basket.
Exactly. Which has simplified my life a lot because I'm such a perfectionist that when I do an album, it can take me 40 hours to do it. I think I complicate things a little too much and I try and put too many pictures in and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I'm kind of glad that I'm not doing as many albums.
So with the album, I mean, how much do you include that's non-bride and groom? A lot?
Yeah, when I would do an album, it would tell the whole story. You'd have reception pages, even pictures of the guests in there. In those magazine-style ones, you can end up doing 100 pages sometimes. Especially with Leather Craftsman, they have new thinner pages. So sometimes I would get 300 pictures into an album, which is a lot.
That's a lot of work.
People who invite guests to their wedding, they're all important. And those are the things you want to remember, the faces of your friends and family, right?
Well, exactly. So with all this work that you've been doing, as many years as you've been shooting now, Ingrid, what do you look forward to do in the future? What do you want to do that you haven't got to do with your photographic career?
Oh gosh, that's so tough, Scott. I am just not a planner, as you can see, probably from talking to me. I want to go down that dark road. I want to push myself out of the sunny, happy pictures, which is good for my clients. I just let the natural thing come out of me to capture for them. But maybe I want to picture something in my head and make that happen, and maybe have a message there, something meaningful. I need an assignment.
You do a personal project, right? And that's, I guess, to do some dark work.
Yeah, I don't know what'll happen. Maybe next year. Maybe in the winter when it slows down a little bit.
Do you take a camera everywhere you go? To the store? Is there always a camera with you?
I sometimes take the camera from 1972 that my dad had. I will sometimes throw that in my purse and use the Sunny 16 rule because the meter doesn't work or anything. I take that around quite a bit, and then I use my iPhone camera. That's the only digital camera I have. And I do the Shake It app that makes it look like a Polaroid. I have fun with that. I take pictures with that quite a bit. And the Hipstamatic app, too, which sort of emulates different film emulsions. It's fun.
No, it is fun. I've looked at some of those up on your Facebook page. Pretty cool.
They are fun. Yeah, I love the iPhone camera. That's the only digital camera that I like.
Well, can you call it a camera, or is it just because it's a phone? I guess it's cool to say, well, it's just a phone.
And I have a bunch of old cameras that I never bring them to the weddings. I think that if I were going to do them with the weddings, I'd almost have to have another person there to shoot all the stuff that I shoot. It would cost more. They'd have to pay to have all the other extras coming in.
So you don't shoot with a second or a third shooter?
No, I have an assistant, but they don't shoot. They just help me organize things. And I have the option for a full second shooter in my packages, but I've never needed one. And half the time when I have my assistant shoot, I end up never using any of their pictures. So for me, it's kind of like almost a waste.
So Ingrid, tell me about the kiddies. Have you always wanted to shoot kids, or is this something that sort of came about after you had your own kid?
No, in fact, I didn't even like kids. I have never been a kid person. I didn't hold a baby until I was maybe 29.
Wow.
I was terrified of them.
And then you got one.
Yeah. And then a lot of my past wedding clients started having babies. And I started doing kid shots after they had children. And then once I had my own, I think that's when I started getting better at it, knowing how to communicate with a child. Because before I had no concept at all, nothing. It was just a completely foreign world to me. But I've fallen into it very naturally now. And I'll take pictures of anything, like I was saying, kids, food, people, landscapes. I'll photograph it all. And when someone calls you and says that they'll pay you to do something, I'm like, okay. And with the kids, it's almost more challenging than a wedding because they don't listen, they're all over the place. But it's kind of relaxing, too, because you can always reschedule if you have to. There's not that pressure that's on you at a wedding where you have to get the shot. For kids, it's more relaxed in that way. So the shooting environment, maybe you don't have that nervousness inside. And I use my wide angle a lot more with kids than I do during a wedding, too, because they get right up in your face.
Well, I think shooting kids is cool because depending on what age they are, they don't have any preconceived notions of anything, and there's no inhibitions, and it's just like a wild creature.
Yesterday in Golden Gate Park, I did a family of 3. The oldest boy, every time that he saw the camera, he would do this really cheesy smile. I want to tell people, don't train your kids to smile for the camera, because the challenge for me was taking pictures of him when he wasn't aware that I was pointing the camera at him. It was just funny. I mean, instantly, he'd see the camera and he thought he was being so good, and it was cute. But I ended up getting him anyway.
What do you like shooting more now? Do you like weddings more still than the kids, or are the kids starting to overtake the wedding work? Or is it sort of a split, or they're just different?
I think they're different in some ways because with weddings, you're really documenting an event. So no one's really even paying attention to you, which I love about weddings. You're just there and you can move around people. With a kid or any kind of portrait session where there's definitely someone who knows they're getting their picture taken, that's more of a challenge for me than shooting an event. Engagement sessions, too. I think I'm much stronger at the wedding shooting than I am at the engagement. Because I'm not a poser. I don't tell people what to do. Somehow it all works out. I did an engagement session the other day, and the couple was, what do we do? That kind of thing. But I got them. I know I got them. You know the second you look through the lens and you click, and you can see it. It's like it freezes in your head, the picture does. They don't trust me yet. They won't trust me until I get the pictures back, and they're dying because it's going to take a month.
Is that about the turnaround on your stuff to the lab and scans and back?
Yeah, because I get distracted with watering my plants, that kind of thing. The lab's quick. I'm not. And the anticipation is the magic of film. It's that waiting and not having it instantly that makes it even more special. It's the magic that's there. I love that. There's nothing like getting your film back and being completely surprised by it, because it's never exactly what you imagine. Even if you know that you got the shot when you took it, for the most part, I'm like, oh, I got it. But you forget, and when you get your scans back and you see, and you're just like, oh, it's even better than I imagined. I love it.
It is cool. I don't like to get my stuff back from the lab online either. I want to see a physical package.
Yeah.
So, Ingrid, tell me about the website, the blog, the Facebook. I mean, you're connected everywhere. Tell me how people can see this beautiful work.
Well, my website is myrtleandmarjoram.com, myrtleandmarjoram.com. And that's my website, and you can pretty much link to everything else through that. There's a link to my blog, and my main blog has my Facebook link, a link to my personal blog. I have stuff sort of scattered everywhere, but the website will take you there. Go there first.
And from there, you can get to all these places where they can check out this beautiful photography.
Exactly. Thank you.
It's very, very cool. And Ingrid, I really appreciate you joining us today on Inside Analog Photo. We finally got a chance to chat, and we look forward to chatting with you in the future about some other projects you're working on and this beautiful photography in general. It's really cool.
Thank you, Scott. It was so much fun talking to you, and I've been looking forward to it since you first contacted me. So thank you.
Well, there you go. Ingrid Nelson, unbelievable, beautiful photography, the use of film, analog, her outlook, very inspirational. You need to check out her website. It is fabulous work. Great inspiration for everybody shooting film on the unbelievable aspects and quality of analog capture. The Inside Analog Photo radio program has been brought to you by Fujifilm for their full line of instant cameras and film, and of course, fine quality Fuji Crystal Archive paper over at www.fujifilmusa.com/professional. Our friends at Photo Publicist, worldwide publicity, strategic promotion, social media marketing, and business development over at www.photopublicist.com. Our friends at Richard Photo Lab for the finest quality lab in the country, richardphotolab.com. Our friends over at DR5 for black and white chrome at dr5.com. Upstrap for the finest quality camera strap that will not slide off your shoulder at upstrap-pro.com. Our friends over at Iger Studios at igerstudios.com. And of course, our media partners of the Analog Photography User Group at apug.org. And our official philanthropic partner, George Eastman House over at eastmanhouse.org. I've been your host, Scott Shippard, here on Inside Analog Photo. We'll be back next week with more great analog photography.